Hello friends, good morning and welcome back to the channel. We started reading NCERT book class 11th of practical geography. So today we will read the chapter 5, that is of topographical maps. So let's start. You know that the map is an important geographic tool. You also know that maps are classified on the basis of scale and functions. The topographical maps, which have been referred to in chapter 1, are of utmost importance to geographers. They shape the purpose of base maps and are used to draw all the other maps. Okay, so topographical maps are the base maps. They serve the purpose of base maps and are used to draw all the other maps. Topographical maps, also known as general purpose maps, are drawn at relatively large scale. So topographical maps are large scale maps. These maps show important natural and cultural features such as relief, vegetation, water bodies, cultivated land, settlements and transportation networks, etc. These maps are prepared and published by the National Mapping Organization of each country. For example, the Survey of India prepares the topographical maps in India. So this is very important कि which organization prepares the topographical map of India. So that is the Survey of India. Survey of India prepares the topographical maps of India for the entire country. The topographical maps are drawn in the form of series of maps at different scales. So topographical maps are drawn at different scales. Hence, in the given series, all maps employ the same reference point, scale, projection, conventional signs, symbols and colors. The topographical maps in India are prepared in two series: India and adjacent countries series and the International Map series of the world. So topographical maps in India are prepared in two series, that is India and adjacent countries series and the International Map series of the world. This is not very important. Let's move on to the description. Okay, can be important. So India and adjacent countries series. Topographical maps under India and adjacent countries series were prepared by the Survey of India till the coming into existence of Delhi Survey Conference in 1937. Henceforth, the preparation of maps for the adjoining countries was abandoned and the Survey of India confined itself to prepare and publish the topographical maps for India as per the specifications laid down for the International Map series of the world. However, the Survey of India for the topographical maps under the new series retained the numbering system and the layout plan of the abandoned India and adjacent series. तो आज की डेट में India does not produce the map of adjacent countries. The topographical maps of India are prepared on 1:10 lakh scale, 1:2,50,000, 1:1,25,000, 1:50,000 and 1:25,000 scale, providing a latitudinal and longitudinal coverage of 4 degree and 4 degree, 1 degree and 1 degree, 30 minute and 30 minute, 15 minute and 15 minute and 57 minute into 7 minute 30 second. Respectively. So why this is different? 5 minute into 7 minute 30 second, both are the same, so why it is different? I don't know. I think something mistake is there. This one specifically this one, 5 minutes into 7 into 30 second. So here what you need to note ki longitudinal and latitudinal coverage if the scale is given, or if the latitudinal and longitudinal coverage is given, then what will be the map scale. So this paragraph actually is very important कि the topographical maps of India are provided on this scale, and this scale has a latitudinal and longitudinal coverage of 4 degree into 4 degree. This scale has 1 degree into 1 degree. 1:25,000 has 1,25,000 has 30 minute and 30 minute. okay, and 1 is to 50,000 has 15 minute into 15 minute, and 1 is to 25,000 has this one. You have to recheck it. Okay, so google it, just google it and recheck it ki latitudinal longitudinal coverage of the topographical map having a scale of 1 is to 25,000 like this, and you will get the answer. Okay, let's move on. The numbering system of each one of these topographical maps is shown in figure 5.1. okay, so we have a figure and we will see it definitely on page 51. So let's just continue and we will see it later. So first thing here, we have to cover glossary, or else we can forget. Okay, so contours, imaginary lines joining all the points of equal elevation or altitude above mean sea level. They are also called level lines. So contour lines are also called as level lines. This is very important. So contours that are imaginary lines joining all the points of equal elevation or altitude above mean sea level, they are also called level lines. Now contour interval, interval between two successive contours, okay, that is interval. It is also known as vertical interval. So contour interval is also known as vertical interval, usually written as vi. Generally it is constant for a given map. Okay, so definitely interval is constant for a given map. Now cross section, a side view of the ground cut vertically along a straight line, it is known as section or profile. Hotchers, small straight lines drawn on the map along the direction of maximum slope running across the contours. They give an idea about the differences in the slope of the ground. This hotchers is very important. Hotchers, this concept is very important. Remember this. Small straight lines drawn on the map along the direction of maximum slope, and this is used, I think, shading technique by using. I got a MCQ on this topic. Definitely I will share all the MCQs topic wise also in the later part, so stay tuned. Okay, then topographic map, a map of small area drawn on a large scale depicting detailed surface features, both natural and man-made. Relief in this map is shown by contours. That is topographical maps. We are reading this. Now international map series of the world. Topographical maps under international map series of the world are designed to produce standardized maps of the entire world on a scale of 1 is to 10 lakh and 1 is to 2 lakh 50,000. So this is the international map series of the world. Okay, only two scale follows here, 1 is to 10 lakh and 1 is to 2 lakh 50,000. Now reading of topographical maps. The study of topographical maps is simple. It requires the reader to get acquainted with the legend, conventional sign and the colors shown on the sheets. So सारे चीज़ें वहीं पे दिया हुआ होता है, सिर्फ आपको वहाँ से उठाकर मिलाकर पढ़ना पड़ता है, जैसे मैप रीडिंग होता है. The conventional sign and symbol depicted on topographical sheets are shown in figure 5.2. Okay, this is not needed now. Method of relief representation. The earth's surface is not uniform and it varies from mountains to hills to plateaus and plains. The elevation and depressions of the earth's surface are known as physical features or relief features of the earth. The map showing these features is called a relief map. So here the topographical system, how it is followed, it is shown. So see the first the entire India or the earth is divided into like this grid, and these are numbered. Okay, numbered like this, and then each grid is divided from A to P. I mean 16 division you will get. Suppose 15, the grid number 15 is divided into 16 grid again, so all are squares. Now this A, suppose 15A or 15D, again 15D, that means 15D is divided, that small square is again divided into 16 squares. You can see 1 to 16. So this way they developed a system, and I got a quite explained article on that. I mean the explanation is very good. So in the next video I will record the video on that document and you will understand it easily, step by step written there. Okay, now a number of methods have been used to show the relief features of the earth's surface on maps over the years. These methods include hotchers, hill shading, layer tents, benchmarks and spot heights and contours. However, contours and spot heights are predominantly used to depict the relief of an area on all topographical maps. Now here you can see these are the signs. So if you doing, when you are doing interpretation of topographical maps, these are very important, right? now, and I told you ki the system of the classification or this deciding the scale about topographical maps, I will share it in a next video. So don't worry, I just continue with this contours as it is written here, because we are focusing on this document particularly, because we are focusing on reading the NCERT books, right? Topic wise coverage इसमें तो there are lots of videos you can see, but when you are reading from the original source, your understanding will be far better. You are knowing the original things. Okay, now read contours. So contours are imaginary lines joining places. Previously I just mentioned that, so that I am telling you, you just read the NCERT, because many times we just get our information from the secondary sources, so it's better always to do some primary source studies. That's the purpose of this video series too. Okay, so let's start. Contours. Contours are imaginary lines joining places having the same elevation above mean sea level. Already we have seen this definition in the glossary part. A map showing the landform of an area by contours is called a contour map. The method of showing relief features through contours is very useful and versatile. The contour lines on a map provide a useful insight into the topography of an area. Earlier, ground surveys and leveling methods were used to draw contours on topographical maps. However, the invention of photography and subsequent use of aerial photography have replaced the conventional methods of surveying, leveling and mapping. So आज के डेट में recent dates में we don't do surveying, leveling and mapping. Hence for these photographs are used in topographical mapping. So how we do the topographical mapping? Through the using of aerial photography and all. Okay, then contours are drawn at different vertical intervals vi, like 20, 50, 100 meters above the mean sea level. It is known as contour interval. Now here one question may come. It is also fixed ki 1:15,000 scale. In that map, topographical map, what is the contour interval? A topographical map with 1:10 lakh scale, what is the contour interval? So these are also the things that you should know, right? But you have to do Google search, or else later I will share, because I can't cover all the things at the same time, because I don't have such good laptops or like that, so that I can integrate all the things at one place, right? No such facilities here in front of me, and that's the main reason ki why I always tell you ki you do search yourself, because I can't show you all them by integrating them, right? I don't have editing skills as well, so that I can later edit it too. So these are very quite skillable tasks, and I don't have that. That's why I am sharing you a particular document at a time, and I am saying ki stay tuned, so that whenever the questions I am discussing, the questions arising here, definitely I will cover them at a later time, and you will get to know that if you are if you stay connected with this channel, because this channel is particularly focused on the geography. Okay, now it is known as contour interval. It is usually constant on a given map. It is generally expressed in meters, while the vertical interval between the two successive contour lines remains constant. The horizontal distance varies from place to place depending upon the nature of slope. Definitely the horizontal distance varies, right? Vertical distance remains same, but the horizontal distance varies depending upon the nature of the slope. If the if the slope is very steep, the horizontal distance between the two will be if the slope is the horizontal distance varies, I mean when it is talking about the width, say a mountain top, right? So mountain, the contour at the base will be large, and contour line at the top will be the smallest one, right? So horizontal distance is varies. Now the horizontal distance, also known as the horizontal equivalent, is large when the slope is gentler and decrease with increasing slope gradient. Okay, ये देखो, so slope gradient जो है like decreases. If the slope gradient decreases, slope gradient is decreases, then slope decreases with increasing slope gradient. So that means horizontal equivalent or horizontal distance decreases with increasing slope gradient. Okay, I think more detailed explanation needed here, and we will note it. Okay, so just note it here, this line key. The horizontal distance varies from place to place, and horizontal distance is more, or horizontal equivalent, we are calling it horizontal equivalent, HE, is large when the slope is gentler and decreases with increasing the slope gradient. So remember this line, this statement, it can be asked directly ki true, false or not. Okay, like that statement by questions. Okay, now some basic features of contour lines are: a contour line is drawn to show places of equal heights. Contour lines and their shapes represent the height and slope or gradient of the landform. Closely spaced contours represent steep slopes, while widely spaced contours represent gentle slope. When two or more contour lines merge with each other, they represent features of vertical slopes such as cliffs or waterfalls. Two contours of different elevation usually do not cross each other, definitely, but some exceptions are there, like in vertical cliffs, waterfalls. Here the contour lines touches each other. Now, drawing of contours and their cross sections, we know that. And how did I tell you this point, where contour section touches each other? I got it in a previous year questions, and I will share all the questions here. They are collected in a place, but I am collecting more questions so that I can share you a lot of questions at a time, say for 100 questions minimum, right? Or 50 questions on a chapter, on a particular chapter. If I share it chapter wise, then definitely I'll share minimum 50 questions, or else how. Okay, it's not beneficial, so that you can cover the entire chapter through that one particular video whenever you necessary, or later date when someone will feel the need. Now, drawing of contours and their cross sections. So we know that all the topographical features show varying degrees of slope. For example, a flat plain exhibits gentler slope, and the cliffs and gorges are associated with the steep slope. Similarly, valleys and mountain ranges are also characterized by the varying degree of slopes, that is steep to gentle. Hence, the spacing of contour is significant since it indicates the slope. Now, types of slope. The slopes can broadly be classified into gentle, steep, concave, convex, and irregular or undulating. So, how many slopes are there? Five slopes are there: gentle, steep, concave, convex. Gentle, steep, concave, convex, irregular or undulating. The contours of different types of slopes shows a distinct spacing pattern. Now see, gentle slope. When the degree or angle of slope of a feature is very low, you can see here the angle of a slope is very low, the slope will be gentle. The contours representing this type of slope are far apart. Definitely the distance between two contours is very large, and we say that is a gentle slope. Steep slope, when the degree of angle or angle of slope of a feature is high and the contours are closely spaced. So remember this phrase, ki contours are closely spaced. So when contours are closely spaced, the slope is steep, and when the contours are widely spaced, the slope is gentle. Okay. Now you can see the actual representation, how it look like on the topographical map, I mean the contour. So you can see here, this is the gap, more gap, so it means it is a gentle slope, and the actual feature will be look like this. And if the slope is steep, actual feature will be look like this, and the contours will be like this, small space in between them. Okay. Now, concave slope. A slope with a gentle gradient in the lower parts of a relief feature and steep in its upper parts is called the concave slope. Contours in this type of slope are widely spaced in the lower parts and are closely spaced in the upper parts. Okay, something confusing. A slope with a gentle gradient in the lower parts of a relief feature and steep in its upper parts is called the concave slope. Acha. So contours in this type of slope are widely spaced in the lower parts and are closely spaced in the upper parts. So there are two features at the same time. You can see the contours at the lower part. Here you can see these contours at the lower parts are widely spaced, but contours at the upper part are small spaced, less spaced. So then we will say it is a concave slope. And if the situation is reverse, we will say it is a convex slope. So you can say that if you imagine it like a concave, so suppose cave is like a hole, you mean a low place. Okay, so here you can see that the height is here low, so you can consider it as a cave, and you can remember that the concave is when the contours are widely spaced at the lower parts and very narrowly spaced in the upper part, that is a concave slope. And situation is reverse, that means space between two contours is very less in the lower part and the space increases as the slope increases in the upper part, so that is called convex slope. Here if I read it again, a slope with a gentle gradient in the lower parts of a relief feature and steep in its upper parts is called the concave slope. Contours in this type of slope are widely spaced in the lower parts and are closely spaced in the upper parts. Now convex slope, unlike concave slope, the convex slope is fairly gentle in the upper part and steep in the lower part. Okay, so steep in the lower part. As a result, the contours are widely spaced in the upper parts and are closely spaced in the lower parts. That's it. You can see this like this. This is a steep slope. Okay, and this is a concave slope. This is a concave slope. This is a convex slope. Okay, see next, types of landform. So conical hill, it rises almost uniformly from the surrounding land. A conical hill with uniform slope and narrow top is represented by concentric contours spaced almost at regular intervals. So that is a conical hill. So how to identify a conical hill from the contour map? So it will look like this. Okay, so you can get questions also like this. If a contour line is drawn here and you may ask ki identify the feature. Okay, like these questions also can come. So you should remember that the height is increasing toward the center. You can see it's 1500, 1600, and the size of the contour is getting smaller, so it is a conical hill. Okay, now the reverse will be a plateau. So a widely stretched flat topped highland with relatively steeper slope rising above the adjoining plain. Sorry, not reverse, but let's see a plateau. Okay, forget that. Plateau, a widely stretched flat topped high. This is flat topped high land with relatively steeper slope rising above the adjoining plain or sea is called a plateau. The contour lines representing a plateau are normally close spaced at the margins, with the innermost contour showing wide gap between its two sides. Okay, so let's see these contours. So here you can see the height is increasing 1100 to 1500, and you can see here is a big gap. You know, the same, the height is same here, middle in between the area between 1500 contour is very big, so we are calling it a plateau area. Okay, so you can identify in this way from the contours. Now valley, a geomorphic feature lying between two hills or ridges and formed as a result of the lateral erosion by a river or a glacier is called a valley. Now V-shaped valley, it resembles the letter V. A V-shaped valley occurs in mountainous areas. The lowermost part of the V-shaped valley is shown by the innermost contour line with very small gap between its two sides, and the lowest value of the contour is assigned to it. The contour value increases with uniform intervals for all other contour lines outward. So you can see this is a V-shaped valley. You can note the innermost contour, that it is the here it is the lowest height. You know, the value is lowest, height is lowest here, and it is very narrow. Okay, so we are calling it a V-shaped valley. And similarly U-shaped valley, if you see that the U-shaped valley, the height is also low, but the shape is different. You know, the shape is different. You can see this, there is a wide gap, so we are calling it a U-shaped valley. Now U-shaped valley, a U-shaped valley is formed by strong lateral erosion of glaciers. So V-shaped valley are formed by in mountainous areas by the erosion of rivers mainly, and U-shaped valleys are formed by the erosion of glaciers. The flat, wide bottom and steep sides makes it resemble the letter U. The lowermost part of U-shaped valley is shown by the innermost contour line with a wide gap between its two sides, like a plateau is just discussed. The contour value increases with uniform intervals for all other contour lines outward, and the contour value is increasing outward, and here you can see the contour value is increasing outward, or if I say reversely, then we can say the contour value is decreasing inward. Here also contour value is increasing inward, so it is a U-shaped valley and this is a V-shaped valley. You have to identify from the shape of the innermost contour that if it is like this, then you can say it is the height is decreasing. Okay, if height is increasing, then definitely it is a mountain, but height is decreasing, so definitely it will be a valley. Okay, because here height is decreasing. Okay, so you have to note this. Now, gorge. In high altitudes, gorges form in the areas where the vertical erosion by river is more prominent than the lateral erosion. They are deep and narrow river valleys. So this is just talking about V-shaped valley, right? Gorges are sometimes called V-shaped valley. They are deep and narrow river valleys with very steep sides. A gorge is represented by very closely spaced contour lines on a map with the innermost contour showing small gap between its two sides. V-shaped valley and gorges are same. You can see the contour line here, right? Now, spar. A tongue of land projecting from higher ground into the lower is called a spar. A tongue of land projecting from higher ground. So what is a spar? A piece of land or a tongue of land projecting from higher ground to a lower ground is called a spar. It is also represented by V-shaped contours, but in the reverse manner. The arms of the V point to the higher gradient and the apex of V to the lower ones. Okay, so it looks like V-shaped, but there is a difference. You can see a spar is like this. So here the decrease in height is outward. Okay, decrease in height in outward, so that is a spar. Okay, so we are here key spar. A tongue of land projecting from higher ground into the lower is called a spar. It is also represented by V-shaped contours, but in the reverse manner. So definitely it is not V-shaped, right? You can first thing you can ignore that point. This is not a V-shaped. Okay, so first thing just ignore it. And a tongue of land projecting, remember the definition of the spar, a tongue of land projecting from higher ground into the lower is called a spar, right? And here you just note this key, it's like a plateau. It's like a plateau, but a reverse plateau. No, not reverse plateau, it's more or same like a plateau. You can see the gap is more here in the upper portion because it is a spar, and the height is increasing outward, sorry, decreasing outward. So here you can say reverse, you can say the height is increasing from the outward or towards inward. So 100, 200 and 300, if we imagine from if we imagine from here to from outward to center, so height is increasing, and if we imagine from center to outward, that is it is height is decreasing, right? So this is the situation, and just remember this picture or draw one, so you can remember it easily. It is a spar. Okay, so it is a projecting land from high ground to lower ground. Projecting from high ground to low ground is called a spar. Okay, next move on to the waterfall and rapids. A sudden and more or less perpendicular descent of water from a considerable height in the bed of a river is called a waterfall. A sudden and more or less perpendicular, so it is the definition of waterfall. Very good. A sudden and more or less perpendicular descent of water from a considerable height in the bed of a river is called a waterfall. Sometimes a waterfall succeeds or proceeds with a cascading stream, forming rapids upstream or downstream of a waterfall. When the waterfall is in step-by-step format, that we call rapids, and the contours representing a waterfall merge into one another while crossing a river stream, and the rapids are shown by relatively distant contour lines on a map. क्या कुछ भी बोल दिया, चलो। तो हमने वाटरफॉल रैपिड्स की जो है डेफिनेशन यहाँ पर पता चला, और ये देखने में कैसा होता है ये देखो क्या हो रहा है कि यहाँ पर जो है हाइट देखो डिक्रीज हो रहा है, 800 से लेकर आ रहा है आपका 1200 तक, ठीक है। नाउ डेफिनेटली वाटरफॉल नीचे गिर रहा है पानी, that means height is decreasing. So you will get a feature like this, 800 to 1200. And what else? The feature will come here and the contour will look, feature is like this actually in the present, and contour will look like this. Contour will look like this, you can see. But so you can say the height is decreasing towards the center of the contour, because it will be like almost a circular line. You can say this is the edge of the map of your contour map, and here you will got a river, and then you will got this contour like this. So you can say ki it is a waterfall because height is decreasing continuously. You can say 1800 to 1200, there is a steep fall in the height, so you can say this is a waterfall, definitely, right? Okay, let's see the cliff. It is a very steep or almost perpendicular face of landform. On a map, a cliff may be identified by the way the contours run very close to one another, ultimately merging into one. ये देखो, हमने characteristics में पढ़ा था ना कि contour lines never merge with each other, right? or cannot merge with each other, like that a characteristic was there. So definitely you can rewind the video. Now here you can say that cliff ultimately merge into one another, and I said you ki instead of cliff they merge into one another. So how they merge here, you can see. So this is the maximum height 1000 here, 1000. Now see the height is decreasing, here. You see height is decreasing this way, 1800, 600, 400, 200, 100. But in this place, cliff, what is the cliff? What is the cliff? It is a very steep or almost perpendicular face of landform on a map. Okay, so definition is actually not given. If you see the picture is not very clear. So how is the cliff happens? Cliff is like this, okay, like this cliff. So this is the hanging portion, we called it cliff. Okay, hanging portion is called cliff. Now sometimes you can see, sometimes your feature is given here almost. Yeah, you can see this here you can see. So we call this portion as cliff, this portion we called as cliff, है ना? So here if you imagine कि this is the 1000 meter height, and now height is decreasing, and here the two contours or three contours, you can say all the contours are merging here, right? So this is a exception of the rules of contour lines or the characteristics of contour lines. Okay, exception of the characteristics of contour lines. So cliff is look like this, where simply you need to identify from this point only ki if the contour lines are like merging together, then we can call it a cliff, right? If the contour lines are merging with each other, then we can call it a cliff. And here also the contour lines are merging also, see, because in the waterfall definitely there will be a cliff, you can see here in the waterfall definitely. But yeah, so sometimes cliff is within the waterfall. You can say if there is a river, definitely it will be a cliff, and there will be a waterfall too. Okay, so here you can see this is a cliff. So I hope this concept are getting clearer to you. If you are reading for the first time, although if you are reading for the first time, I hope you are developing some little bit understanding, and definitely the content what is given in the NCERT, you are you getting to know about that without any boringness, right? Okay, let me know in the comment section if any suggestions are there for me. Definitely I will try to improve my speaking styles, my reading styles, and everything, whatever it is. So definitely if you note something, do let me know in the comment section. Let's see the steps for drawing a cross section. Okay, so cross sections means, suppose there is a river. If we cut it like this, so here we will get a cross section, right? The following steps may be followed to draw cross sections of various relief features from the contours. Draw a straight line cutting across the contours on the map and mark it as AB. Take a stripe of white paper or graph. So this is a practical part, definitely we are skipping it here. Okay, let's skip it. Now identification of cultural features from topographical sheets. So we know that topographical features are not just about the physical features, but there are man-made features also. So settlements, buildings, roads and railways are important cultural features shown on topographical sheets through conventional signs, symbols and colors. The location and pattern of distribution of different features help in understanding the area shown on the map. Now distribution of settlement. First thing we note the settlement. It can be seen in the map through its site, location, pattern, alignment and density. The nature and causes of various settlement patterns may be clearly understood by comparing the settlement map with the contour map. हो गया. सो ये सारे कल्चरल फीचर्स हमको मिलता है. ओके, और नहीं हुआ, ये तो रीडिंग मटेरियल है. मेरे को लगा कि एक्सरसाइज आ गया क्या, वही तो अचानक. नाउ 4 टाइप्स ऑफ रूरल सेटलमेंट्स में बी आइडेंटिफाइड ऑन द मैप, दैट इज कॉम्पैक्ट, स्कैटर्ड, लीनियर एंड सर्कुलर. कॉम्पैक्ट जो ऐसे पास पास ऐसे रहेगा, कोई पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न नहीं रहेगा, इसे हम कॉम्पैक्ट बोलते हैं. स्कैटर्ड इधर उधर ऐसे करके रहेगा, स्कैटर्ड. ये तो और भी चलो हो गया. फिर नाउ लीनियर, कोई लाइन रेल लाइन के बराबर ऐसे हो गया, लीनियर तो ऐसे हो गया, रोड के साइड पे बनता है तो ऐसे हम लीनियर बोलते हैं, एक लाइन पे बनी हुई है. सर्कुलर, जैसे कोई मान लो एक पॉन्ड है और इसके सराउंड में कोई सेटलमेंट बैठा है तो इसको हम सर्कुलर बोलेंगे. तो ऐसे करके हम आपने पढ़ा होगा आई थिंक. नाउ सिमिलरली अर्बन सेंटर्स में ऑल्सो भी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड एज क्रॉस रोड टाउन. Now if there is more roads like this, so definitely this is a urban area. Okay, because so many roads are there, so it happens only in the urban area. Now nodal point, market center, hill station, coastal resort center, port, manufacturing center with suburban villages or satellite towns, capital town, religious center और क्या दिया. चलो ये से छोड़ो. ये सारी चीज़ें हम आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं कॉन्टूर मैप से, ये बता रहा है. अब वेरियस फैक्टर डिटरमाइन द साइट ऑफ सेटलमेंट लाइक सोर्स ऑफ वाटर, प्रोविजन ऑफ फूड, नेचर ऑफ रिलीफ, नेचर एंड कैरेक्टर ऑफ ऑक्यूपेशन, डिफेंस. आई थिंक यहाँ पर ये सारे हमको डिटेल में जानना होगा और यहाँ पर शॉर्ट में दिया हुआ है तो इतने इंपॉर्टेंट यहाँ पर है नहीं. नाउ बस सिर्फ आपको लिखना है कि अगर आपको पूछा गया कि आप कॉन्टूर मैप से और क्या क्या चीज़ें जान सकते हो, तो ये अगर ऐसा कुछ क्वेश्चंस आपका बोर्ड एग्जाम में आ गए तो अब आप ये सारी चीज़ें छोटे छोटे करके मेंशन कर देना जैसे यहाँ पर है. Now, site of settlement should be closely examined with reference to the contour and drainage map. Density of settlement is directly related to food supply. Sometimes village settlements form alignments. They are spread along a river, valley, road, embankment, coastline. These are called linear settlements. I told you कि when they are forming in the shape of a line beside a river, road, right, railway line, embankment, coastline, we call it a linear settlement. In the case of an urban settlement, a crossroad town, ये देखो crossroad town assumes a fan shaped pattern, the house being arranged along the roadside and the crossing being at the heart of the town. So this is the heart of the town, and the main marketplace. In a nodal town, the roads radiate in all directions. So in a nodal town, just like similar to star network, but these are radiate from the center, so they are not just crossing but they are radiating outward, like this. Just imagination is different, all the others are same like a star. Now transport and communication pattern. Relief, population, size and resource development pattern of an area directly influence the means of transport and communication and their density. These are depicted through conventional signs and symbols. Means of transport and communication provide useful information about the area shown on the map. तो ट्रांसपोर्ट कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में भी हमको पता चलता है. नाउ इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ टोपोग्राफिकल मैप्स. अब इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसे करना पड़ता है. नॉलेज ऑफ मैप लैंग्वेज एंड सेंस ऑफ डायरेक्शन आर एसेंशियल इन रीडिंग इन इंटरप्रेटिंग टोपोशीट्स, राइट. सो डायरेक्शन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड लैंग्वेज ऑफ मैप. You must first look for the north line. It is always on the upper direction, and the scale of the map is very important, and orient yourself accordingly. You must have a thorough knowledge of the legends or key given in the map depicting various features. All toposheets contain a table showing conventional signs and symbols used in the map. Conventional signs and symbols are internationally accepted, so anyone can read any map anywhere in the world without knowing the language of that particular country. This is the beauty of the topographical map, ki no matter which country map you are reading, if you are familiar with the legend or the conventional signs, you can read out that map. A topographical sheet is usually interpreted under the following heads. So marginal information, relief and drainage, land use, means of transport and communication, human settlement. So अगर आपको इंटरप्रिटेशन करने के लिए दिया है टोपोग्राफिकल मैप को, तो ये सारी चीज़ें आपको क्या करना पड़ता है, इस हेड्स में, मतलब ये सारे हेडिंग्स को आपको डिस्कस करना होगा। एक तो हो गया मार्जिनल इन्फॉर्मेशन देना पड़ेगा, देन रिलीफ एंड ड्रेनेज के बारे में बात करना पड़ेगा, फिर लैंड यूज के बारे में बात करना पड़ेगा, मीन्स ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में बात करना पड़ेगा, ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट के बारे में बात करना पड़ेगा। हमने जब किया था तो ये स्ट्रक्चर तो हमको पता ही नहीं गया था। तो देख सकते हो एनसीईआरटी, इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि एक्चुअल सोर्स से पढ़ो, तो आपको ये पता चल गया ना कि ये कोई मतलब किसी का एक फॉर्मेट है, ये देख सकते हो, ठीक है। आप जैसे मन वैसे नहीं लिख सकते, इस फॉर्मेट को आपको फॉलो करना है कि एक फॉर्मेट है। पहले मेरे को मार्जिनल इन्फॉर्मेशन देना है, यानी मैप के चारों तरफ क्या क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको मिल रहा है, क्या ओवरव्यू मिल रहा है आपको, कौन सी ग्रिड का है ये, कौन सी स्केल का है, वो सारी चीज़ें आपको नोट डाउन करना है। फिर आपको रिलीफ एंड ड्रेनेज के बारे में बात करना है। नेक्स्ट पॉइंट आपका अगर लैंड यूज, फिर आपको मीन्स ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में बात करना होगा, और फिर ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट के बारे में बात करना होगा। तो ये आपका हो गया टोटल इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ अ टोपोग्राफिकल मैप। अब देखो इसमें क्या क्या आता है उसके बारे में यहाँ पर क्लियरली बताया गया है। तो डेफिनेटली हम प्रैक्टिकल करते हैं विदाउट रीडिंग दिस थिंग्स एंड समथिंग, या वी लर्न इट, बट डेफिनेटली द theory part we missed, right? कि what is the structure, what should be the structure, right? Or though in our exams usually asks ki interpret the settlement pattern of the given map, like that. So individual point is asked there, no issue with that. Okay, so just I'm just mentioning, nothing else. Okay. So marginal information, it includes the topographical sheet number, its location, grid reference, its extent in degrees and minutes, scale, the district covered, etc. And relief of the area, the general topography of the area is studied to identify the plains, plateaus, hills or mountains along with peaks, ridges, spar and the general direction of the slope. Those features are studied under the following heads. तो ये देखो रिलीफ फीचर्स को भी हम इस हेड्स में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं कि हिल, प्लेटू, प्लेन, माउंटेन, ऐसे करके, मतलब उसके अंदर ये चारों पॉइंट हम कर सकते हैं और इसको डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। नाउ ड्रेनेज ऑफ द एरिया, द इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर्स एंड द ट्रिब्यूटरीज एंड द टाइप एंड एक्सटेंट ऑफ वैलीज फॉर्म्ड बाय देम, द टाइप्स ऑफ ड्रेनेज पैटर्न, दैट इज डेंड्राइटिक, रेडियल। तो ये सब चीज़ों के बारे में आपको लिखना पड़ता है। अब लैंड यूज, इट इंक्लूड्स द यूज ऑफ लैंड अंडर डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज। लैंड यूज मीन्स यूज ऑफ लैंड अंडर डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज। नाउ इसके अंदर नेचुरल वेजिटेशन एंड फॉरेस्ट के बारे में बात कर सकते हो, विच पार्ट ऑफ द एरिया इज फॉरेस्टेड, वेदर इट इज डेंस फॉरेस्ट और थिन, एंड द कैटेगरीज ऑफ फॉरेस्ट फाउंड देयर लाइक रिजर्व, प्रोटेक्टेड, क्लासिफाइड, unclassified. Then agricultural, orchard, wasteland, industrial. What is it? Industrial is also included here. Now facilities and services such as schools, colleges, hospitals. So this is facilities and services, parks, airports, electric substation, etc. like this. Okay. Now transport and communication, the means of transport. Airline comes in the here, na, airports. Okay, airports. Oh, you can note down is facilities and services, though also it is facility and service. Now transport and communication, the means of transportation include national or state highways, district roads, cart trucks, camel trucks, footpaths, railway, waterways, major communication like post offices, etc. Now settlement के बारे में बात करते हैं। Settlement is studied under the following heads: rural settlement, urban settlement, the types and patterns of rural settlements, compact, semi-compact, dispersed, linear, etc. Urban settlement, the type of urban settlements and their functions, that is capital cities, administrative towns, religious towns, port towns, hill stations, etc. Now occupation, so you can see this was not mentioned in that frame also. So occupation, the general occupation of the people of the area may be identified with the help of land use and the type of settlement. So this is basically you can say you can write it in your conclusion part of your map interpretation. What is the occupation? Because you are deriving from those primary informations, you are deriving a secondary conclusion. For example, in rural areas, the main occupation of majority of the people is agriculture. In tribal regions, lumbering and primitive agriculture dominates, and in coastal areas, fishing is practiced. Then similarly, in cities and towns, services and business appear to be the major occupations of the people. Now map interpretation procedure. So map interpretation involves the study of factors that explain the causal relationship among several features shown on the map. For example, the distribution of natural vegetation and cultivated land can be better understood against the background of landform and drainage. Likewise, the distribution of settlements can be examined in association with the levels of transport network system and the nature of topography. Okay, here map interpretation procedure. So map interpretation involves the study of factors that explain the causal relationship among several features shown on map. Note this, Map interpretation involves the study of factors that explain the causal relationship among several factors shown on map. For example, the distribution of natural vegetation and cultivated land can be better understood against the background of landform and drainage. Likewise, the distribution of settlement can be examined in association with the levels of transport network system and the nature of topography. The following steps will help in map interpretation. Find out from the index number of the topographical sheet the location of the area in index. This would give an idea of the general characteristics of the major and minor physiographic divisions of the area. Note the scale of the map and contour interval, which will give the extent and general information of the area. Now trace out the following features on tracing sheets: major landforms, drainage and water features, land use, settlement and transport. I already discussed. Describe the distribution pattern of each and feature separately, drawing attention to the most important aspect. Here just clarifying you ki how to interpret a map and how to draw conclusion, etc. Right? So nothing else. And then you can see describe the distribution pattern of each of the features separately, drawing attention to the most important aspect. What is the most important aspect? You need to discuss that. Then superimpose pairs of these maps and note down the relationship, if any, between the two patterns. For example, if a contour map is superimposed over a land use map, it provides the relationship between the degree of slope and the type of the land use. So you prepared separate maps, for 1 inch for land use and 1 inch for relief. Now if you superimpose, that means keep one above the another, so you will get a relationship ki where the height is more, the agriculture is less, the paddy cultivation is less, or where the area is plain, here agriculture is dominant. Like that you will get a relationship and you can represent it through the maps. That is what he are saying. You will understand it more broadly in your practical classes, I mean in your schools, etc., or colleges. I am not discussing it here. Now aerial photographs and satellite imageries of the same area and of the same scale can also be compared with the topographical map to update the information. So aerial photographs are used to update the information in a topographical map. Now let us see the exercise part quickly. Answer the following questions in about 30 words. So what are topographical maps? Name the organization which prepares the topographical maps of India. Now which are the commonly used scales for mapping our country used by the Survey of India? What are contours? What does the spacing of contours indicate? What are conventional signs? Now write short notes, contours, marginal information, topographical sheets, the Survey of India. Explain what is meant by map interpretation and what procedure is followed for its interpretation. Okay, so last part. Now if you are interpreting the cultural features from a topographical sheet, what information would you like to seek and how would you derive this information? Discuss with the help of a suitable example. Draw the conventional signs and symbols for the following features. International boundary, so you can note down these features, how it look like on the topographical map. What is the sign? International boundary, benchmark, villages, metal road, footpath with bridges, places of worship, railway line, etc. Now exercise A, study the contour pattern and answer the following question. Now here is one thing ki when we learn, we usually worried about ki how to remember the sign of these, because ki how to remember the sign. Now there is only way ki you have to read the or see the map again and again, right? And you need to associate with the signs ki where this is a sign of water body. So where are the water bodies located on the map? So when you will repeat this process, you will get familiar with the signs and you will be easily remember it. Study the contour pattern and answer the following questions. Name the geographical feature formed by contours. Find out the contour interval in the map. Find out the map distance contour pattern and answer the following question. अच्छा, मान लो आपको एक contour line दे दिया गया, यहाँ पर शायद ये contour line दे दिया गया और इसका फीचर को आप आइडेंटिफाई करना है. जियोग्राफिकल फीचर क्या है? नाउ फाइंड आउट द contour interval. contour interval क्या है? ठीक है. नेक्स्ट आपका नेक्स्ट है फाइंड आउट द मैप डिस्टेंस बिटवीन ई एंड एफ एंड कन्वर्ट इट इनटू ग्राउंड डिस्टेंस. तो इसका भी एक फॉर्मूला होता है. ये तो स्केल है सिंपल. नेम दिस टाइप ऑफ स्लोप बिटवीन ए एंड ए, बी, ए एंड बी, सी एंड डी एंड ई एंड एफ. ओके, नेम द टाइप ऑफ स्लोप. तो टाइप ऑफ स्लोप का आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है. हमने कितना टाइप का पढ़ा था? जेंटल स्लोप, स्टीप स्लोप, कॉन्केव स्लोप, कॉन्वेक्स स्लोप, undulating slope like that. Find out the direction of E, D and F from G. E, D and F from G, डायरेक्शन की बात कर रहे हैं from E, D and F and G, तो ये डायरेक्शन आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है ना. एक्सरसाइज V, study the extract from the topographical sheet number 63K/12 as shown in the figure below and answer the following questions. Talking about this map 63K/12, you can see in your exam a map will be given like this. So there is no there is no signs are given, right? So definitely in your exams, so you cannot interpret if this is a settlement. You have to know it before. This is a river, you have to know it from before, okay? So or else you can't interpret in your exam, because you will be given just a particular grid of a map or a little portion of the map, and you can be asked to interpret the settlement pattern. I mentioned it earlier too, settlement pattern of this map, okay? So here you can see the exercises. Convert 1:50,000 into a statement scale. Name the major settlement of the area. See, name the major settlement of the area, and what is the direction of flow of the river गंगा. डायरेक्शन आपको पूछा गया है. तो ये तीनों एक्सरसाइज ये इस मैप के थ्रू आप कर सकते हो ना. गंगा रिवर डायरेक्शन देखो यहाँ पर दिखाया गया है. सी दिस, एंड इफ यू नो दिस इज नॉर्थ, सो यू कैन इजीली नाउ टेल द डायरेक्शन. So that's it. Now we have completed. At which one of the banks of the river Ganga Batauli is located? What is the pattern of rural settlement along the right bank of river Ganga? Name the villages or settlements or post office is located. What does the yellow color in the area refer to? What means of transportation is used to cross the river by the people of Batauli village? So these type of questions are usually asked from the topographical map section. Now exercise C. Study the extract for topographical sheet 63K/12 shown in the figure on page 68 and answer the following questions. So give the height of the highest point on the map. River. So your specific questions are very specifically asked. So you have to find out the location or the river or the village, and you have to answer the question. Okay. You can see in which part this sheet area is lower Khajuri Dam located. So you have to search it on the map, and then you have to answer the question. So that's it, okay? From this map, usually exercise C is from this map, not from the earlier map. Usually C. So we have completed this chapter number 5, and next we will read this chapter, Introduction to Remote Sensing. Okay, thank you friends.